Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new episode of Philosophy Now. This is the little video series that I do for you guys where we go through philosophical ideas, and today we are going to be covering absolutism. So in this episode we're covering absolutism, which is a really interesting one. It's quite in depth, but I hope I can explain it quite well. Just for people who have no idea what absolutism is, it's the holding of absolute principles in political, philosophical or theological matters. And then if you go more further into absolutism, it's the doctrine of the absolute, which holds that an objective and unconditioned reality underlies the perceptual objects. Right, that's quite confusing. So basically, the absolute is a term for the most real being, which I think could be interpreted in different ways by pretty much every individual there ever has been. So, because the absolute could be different for everybody, but the absolute is conceived as being itself, or perhaps the being that transcends and comprehends all other beings. So I suppose you could argue that God is the absolute, or nature is the absolute perhaps, or gravity is, or something that holds so much, or maybe a black hole could be an absolute point, you know? I think the absolute could be pretty much anything you want it to be, maybe. You know, for example, you could argue that a black hole is the absolute because it sucks everything in and nothing can escape it, not even light. So in that sense, it is absolute because nothing else can escape its grip. So that could be an example of the absolute. But also you could have other forms of the absolute as well. So you could have nature, because it is all encompassing in that sense. You know, it's everywhere. It's what sort of has made Earth what so successful, you know. It's from nature. So you could argue that nature is an absolute, but also you could argue, and I suppose a lot of people would argue, that God is an absolute, you know, because God is the creator of all things, and like it said in the description, the absolute transcends and comprehends all beings. And I think God does transcend and comprehend all beings. So, you know, I think God would be definitely, if you believe in God, I think God would be a really good example of absolutism, of the absolute, and maybe the most absolute of the absolutes. So yeah, it's quite an interesting one. I mean, you could, like it said in the description as well, you could use it in different ways, like political or theological. So not just in a philosophy, you could use it in many different ways for many different things, in all types of situations, whether they be big or small, you know. So I think definitely when you're thinking about, you know, God and maybe space and things like that, you could think maybe gravity maybe is an absolute as well, because gravity holds things down. It molds things together. It binds things together as well, you know. And without gravity, there would be pretty much nothing. So you could say gravity has, you know, an absolute power to it, you know, an absolute characteristic to it. I think anything that is all powerful is absolute. But yeah, it's quite an interesting one. I think absolutism is possibly, you know, one of the best philosophies, because it sort of encompasses all different ideas, because you could talk about it in terms of a political idea. So the absolute in politics could be, you know, a dictator maybe, or something like that, you know. Someone with absolute power could be the absolute, you know, or the leader of something. Or I think absolute as well doesn't just have to be someone with power or something with power. It could be something without power as well, because you could have, on the other end of the spectrum, you could have something with nothing, with no power whatsoever, and that could still be an absolute, because it's said that an absolute is sort of, well, it's in most beings, so it's I think definitely it's interpretational, so anything could be an absolute, you know. It depends how you look at it. Me and you could be an absolute, because within ourselves we are the absolute of ourselves, you know. This is getting quite deep, but yeah, I think it's quite an interesting philosophy. Anyway, you guys comment down below and tell me what you think about it. If you've got any prior knowledge about absolutism, let us know, because that would be quite interesting. And if you are like a philosophy student or something, let me know if I explained it properly. If I didn't, I'll probably do another video on it just to clear up my mess of defining what absolutism is. But yeah, let's just get the ball rolling, and let's just have a discussion, and let's create a conversation about this philosophy, because that's what these videos are for. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Comment down below and tell me what you think about anything to do with absolutism. Tell me what your interpretations of the philosophy are, and tell me if you agree with my interpretation or disagree, or kind of don't disagree, whatever, you know. And also let me know what philosophies you're looking forward to in the Philosophy Now series. I did say last week that I'm going to be doing it in alphabetical order, so I am going to stick with that, but just let me know which ones you're most looking forward to, and also please just subscribe and tell people about these videos, and tell them what we're here for. And we're here to learn, we're here to discover, we're here to start a conversation, we're here to argue, discuss, debate, everything. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down or whatever you think, and yeah, I'll see you in my next video.